Believing in something greater than yourself can either guide you to salvation or imprison you with taboos created by its believers. For the maidens of the cult, it's neither. Living under the harsh conditions imposed by the Council of Elder Mothers was no different from existing as a doll collecting dust into a forgotten corner. Powerless, voiceless, and discarded. Welcome to the Tales of Lost. In this video, I'm diving into the life of the maidens trapped under the control of the cult and the knights. This cult, existing for so many years, has decayed over centuries. Corruption takes over their purpose, leaving behind a system designed solely to benefit its members. A familiar story to the power structures we've seen throughout the history. If you're curious about how it all began, make sure to check out the previous video. You can find the link in the description below or by clicking the card in the right corner. It'll provide deeper insight into the origin of the cult and set the stage for everything we discussed today. Now, before we explore the life of the maidens, let's first examine how the cult built their initial power structure, the knights. These knights weren't merely fighters or protectors, they were conditioned to be the enforcers and the possessors of the maidens. The cult's obsession with the power drove them to the experiment, endlessly pushing the limits of mortality and magic. Their army of knights was already fearsome, strengthened by their unyielding devotion to the gods, but it wasn't enough. Hungry for dominance, the cult possessed the recipe of salt pebbles. Collaborating with the mud people, they discover how to enchant their knights, turning them into monstrous weapons. The cult had already acknowledged the capabilities of the mud people. They could extract memories or feeling from objects and infuse them into the knights, intertwining magic and memory with deadly precision. The knights' bodies were physically altered as salt pebbles were embedded into the flesh, transforming them into grotesque, ever-expanding figures inside their armor. This armor wasn't just protection, it became their cage. It fed them a constant supply of salt pebbles, ensuring their minds and bodies remained enslaved. The effects were devastating. Salt pebbles stripped the knights of their emotions, memories, and humanity, leaving behind mindless pawns loyal only to high-ranking cult members. They could no longer feel pain, joy, or sorrow, only the urge to follow orders. Their presence in battle is also devastating. The enchanted salt pebbles gave them terrifying powers. Their weapons enchanted with salt pebbles, and the very air around them became a weapon. For those who not conditioned by the salt pebbles, even inhaling the incense-like smoke emitted from their armor was dangerous. It induced a frenzy, overwhelming victims with uncontrollable rage and causing them to attack anything, even themselves. In some cases, the smoke formed a psychic connection between the victim and the knights, allowing the knights corrupted the memories to flood the victim's mind, frying their brain or driving them mad. On a few occasions, the smoke could temporarily possess the victim, forcing them to turn against their ally or willingly walk under the knight's weapon to die. Their armor was decorated with ornate symbols representing the mother and the father, deities central to the cult's belief. However, one sacred emblem wasn't present as others, the pure soul. The cult believed the pure soul, a symbol of rebirth and fertility, was reserved exclusively for women. It was a divine force that knights could never hope to possess, and it was thought of flow only through the maidens and other female cult members. Other religious men can carry all three of them, but they think these possessed knights are not pure enough to represent the soul. There are small ornaments of the soul here and there, but not as obvious as the others. Now let's go back to the maidens. At the heart of the cult's teachings, the female form was once respected as the essence of sacredness. Salvation, they preached, could only be achieved through women. But as the cult grew more oppressive, their reverence turned into control. The maidens became prisoners of their own divinity. Under the cult's overbearing rules, the maidens were stripped of agency. Their lives revolved around the constant prayer, a ritual for the pure soul to possess them during puberty. This was their sole purpose, to become vessels of the divine and bear children blessed with the pure soul. When a maiden reached a certain age, she was taken to chambers of the high counselors, male members of the cult, where she was forced into pregnancy. If she succeeded in bearing a child, a newborn was immediately taken from her and raised by the elder mothers to ensure the child's complete indoctrination. But if the pregnancy failed, the maiden was cast out, banished to distant places, never to return. Tragically, these abandoned maidens knew nothing beyond their devotion to the old gods. Even after being exiled, they continued to pray the pure soul and spread their gods' teachings, unwittingly extending the reach of the very system that had destroyed them. There is much more to explore, like how the cults got affected with magic or how people they underestimate become their biggest threat. But for now, this is a good place to pause. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel to support the project. If you'd like to go a step further, you can also support me the project on Patreon, where you'll find exclusive content and behind the scenes updates. The link is in the description below and in the channel's page. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next one.